What's this the intro to, Lou?
It's Henley. Don Henley.
Don Henley?
Yes.
We love me some Don Henley, as long as I don't have to hang out with him. 19 till the hour. Please welcome one of our favorite political commentators of the program, Carl Jeffers. Good morning, Mr. Jeffers.
Hi, Don. Good to be with you.
How are you? What's
I'm
that thing you have around your waist?
That's a brace, back brace, body brace, actually prescribed and made for me because I'm suffering from both a herniated disc and a compound bone fracture, both at the same time. So it's a little tough, but I can tell you this brace, I've only had about 3.5 weeks now, has reduced maybe half the pain. It is tremendous in terms of how much it's helping me. So I'm moving along, making some progress.
How long do you have to wear that?
Well, probably another month. The total healing time's around 5 to 6 months. I'm in month 4, so I'm making progress. Don, the first 3 months, the pain was so unbearable. One weekend, I had to go to the emergency room, and they had to give me a needle of morphine. I mean, That's how bad it was. But it's much better now. We can move on to some more serious topics of discussion. But thank you for asking, because I am getting better.
Well, it looks absurd because it's over your shirt.
Yeah, because I have to adjust it. And I can't I didn't want to put the jacket on it and have it look like I was bloated. And it does. Now, you say it looks absurd. Somebody told me I look like Iron Man with it. So.
Here's the thing. You look fat anyway.
Oh, my God.
So what's the matter?
What are you doing?
I'm telling him he looks fat.
You're criticizing the way his brace, the guy's got a...
No.
The man's
it
crippled.
Doesn't, so wearing the jacket we like you for who you are, and the thing.
Then in that case, the weight wouldn't matter. Although I have lost some weight actually because of all of this.
Great, Carl.
So,
well, okay. So, but first of all, television makes you look fatter anyway.
That's true. It makes, but you also makes you look taller.
So this morning, you look huge.
Thanks for coming in.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Yeah.
So the president and the administration announced a plan that no one I know think has any possibility of working. This way of trying to kill off ISIL. And your view is what?
My view is that I agree with you because the consensus is by all of the military analysts that the only way to really win this conflict, this war, if you will, is a much more concerted effort with, in fact, boots on the ground. My concern is that the people in America who are against any activity such as that would include boots on the ground to fight ISIS would be against any activity if we were hit by a military strike directly on the home shores. So I frankly would ignore that. I think that we could, at least to the extent of making a decision about how to handle this, we could ignore that level of protest and consider the fact that the overwhelming majority of the American people support a strong, aggressive approach to ISIS. One of the things that we are tired of is getting involved in conflicts where there is no strategy for winning or for exiting properly, and where our goals are never fully enunciated without the strength that we need to accomplish them. So we're sitting there 6, 7, 8 years later, and we still haven't accomplished our goals. I think the American people would appreciate a strategy that may be difficult for some to agree with because it's a bit aggressive, may alienate some of our allies, but could get the conflict resolved in a short period of time, and we win.
And that would be what?
That would be to have a strong force of military on the boots on the ground presence to back up the airstrikes.
American troops.
It would have listen. We let me tell you what we did just last night. Well, you already know this. We, for the first time, launched airstrikes to protect the Iraqi fortifications and soldiers. Up until now, the policy has been airstrikes to protect U.S. bases, the U.S. supporters, and our installations. So it's mission creep anyway. And so by the time we get to the point where we're having to justify why do we have boots on the ground, we could have just put the boots on the ground in the beginning and gone in and done it. And here's the one thing
why don't we insist that they put their boots on the ground?
They don't have any that make sense.
Any?
Well, number one, the Iraqi.
Saudi Arabia does. All these countries have troops they can put in there. You look shocked, but Why don't they?
Well, they have less of a vested interest, actually, in Iraq and in Syria than we do.
How so?
Because, one, in Iraq, we basically still own that country. We got the largest embassy in the world that we have in any country in the world.
All your warmongering friends want to get in there in the first place.
Well, I don't know about warmongering friends among the Democrats, frankly. I mean, that's generally the situation.
Everybody from Hillary Clinton on down signed off on Iraq.
Yeah, and listen, forget the signing off on Iraq. That was entirely a different scenario in terms of what was presented to both the American people and to Congress.
We got hoodwinked by your boy Bush and those other nuts.
Well, when you start off calling him my boy, we clearly are on the wrong track here.
Colin Powell and those other whack jobs.
Yeah, Colin Powell did that.
Got us in there.
Colin Powell went up there and embarrassed us, and I respect Colin Powell immensely.
And didn't Hillary Clinton think it was a good idea, and she signed off on it?
Everyone thought it was a good idea.
I didn't.
Everyone. But you don't have an elected constituency.
No, but I have a head. I can think.
Well, first of all, Bush did it ultimately.
You're going to need another brace time you leave here.
It seems like it. It seems like it around the head. Listen, the one point on the president and ISIS is that.
How about the Chinese? How about some of their troops?
Yeah, why would they send troops
because they get all their oil from.
And they're still going to get it because they're willing to pay the kind of prices and they have the economy that can support it.
This is outrageous.
But here's what the president needs to recognize. Right. He's in a very vulnerable position. His approval rating is down to the low 40s, could go to the high 30s. Many people in the country feel disappointed and feel that at the very least, his administration has not been a major success. He can get Republican and Democratic agreement.
He's not going to do that.
For the first time in a long time on any of the issues that have been important to him.
He's not going to do it.
Well, he should do it.
He's going to go play golf.
He should do it. That's an interesting point, Don. I would have never thought that Barack Obama, as a community activist and African American, would ever have to deal with comments, and not just, I'm talking about in the media, generally. In fact, I heard on the weekend, they talked about his comments about Foley, about the execution, and they said within 5 minutes he was on the golf course.
That's right.
That we don't hear about Democratic presidents. Bill Clinton would not have allowed that optics failure. That was a failure of optics. In other words, I don't have any problem with the president playing golf, but you don't do it 5 or 10 minutes after you say how sorry you are about someone being executed. But I would think Barack Obama would know these things.
He doesn't.
Well,
he's the worst president we've ever had.
No, he's not the worst we've ever had.
That's right. Jimmy Carter was the worst.
Jimmy Carter was not the worst we ever had. Buchanan was probably the worst.
Carl Jeffers here was the one in the program, and we're fortunately, Carl, out of time.
Yes, it appears that way.
Thank you for limping in here.
Well, I may have limped in, but I'm going out on a strong basis.
Yeah.